for Sarah and Jack Henry, the heroes on my journey. Chapter 1, How Joseph Campbell Got Me Fired from a Church. I used to work at a church. It didn't look like this though, and I wasn't a preacher. It was a mega church, and I made videos. Video production at a church means the preacher tells you what he'll be preaching about. Jesus again. Then you make a video about it. Be more Jesus-y. One day it occurred to me that my job was all about storytelling. So I did what everyone in my generation does when they want to learn how to do something. I Googled it. The first result I got was the name Dan Harmon. You may have heard of Dan. He created a popular cartoon, Rick and Morty. And he created something called the story circle. The story circle was a pattern that you could use to plot out stories. I started applying it to all my videos. I discovered over time that Dan based his circle on the work of Joseph Campbell. Campbell had his own circle called the hero's journey, or monomyth. Campbell's circle wasn't for telling stories. It charted recurring patterns in the great mythologies and hero stories of the world. I started applying both circles to my video work. The only problem was Campbell didn't work in television. He was a comparative mythologist. So you couldn't study his hero's journey without also being exposed to his ideas on God. I found those ideas challenging. This all corresponded with my 40th birthday and my wife being pregnant with our son. During this time, my employer gave me a new responsibility. I won't bore you with the details, but it amounted to pressing a record button once a week at a specific time. A task so simple, a monkey could be trained to do it. They also told me this was now the most important part of my job. Despite the simplicity and importance of this task, I seemed to mess it up every week. It was humiliating. I just couldn't push the button the way I was supposed to. So they had to fire me. If you asked my therapist at the time why I was fired, he would tell you it was because I questioned the faith. My former employers would likely tell you my work was slipping. But I have another theory. Reading Campbell's Hero with a Thousand Faces, I came across this passage concerning Freud. As Freud has shown us, blunders are not the merest chance, but are the result of suppressed desires and conflicts. They are ripples on the surface of life produced by unsuspected springs, and these springs may run very deep as the soul itself. The blunder may amount to an opening of destiny. You've probably heard of a Freudian slip. A person intends to say one thing, but instead, the truth comes out. Nice sweater we're having. I would nose. This phenomenon is called parapraxis, and it doesn't just affect speech. It can affect bodily processes, like pushing a button. Shit! Maybe the reason I couldn't push the button correctly wasn't incompetence, but maybe someone or something knew that I wasn't supposed to be at the church and wouldn't let me push the button. In his book Pathways to Bliss, Campbell references an essay by Schopenhauer in which the philosopher points out that viewed from enough distance, a person's life seems to take on a plot, as if written by an unseen author. I said that? Yeah. Schopenhauer suggested the invisible author might be the unconscious part of ourselves. Maybe Dan Harmon took inspiration for storytelling from the hero's journey because it presents a pattern for a life story we're all meant to live. Maybe this was the beginning of my hero's journey.